Hey, all. I'm so excited about this first episode of 2022 when I get to introduce you to two of the new rotating co-hosts for BRC and Friends, Laura Mariko Cheifetz and Amy Kim Kyremes-Parks. Laura is the Assistant Dean of Admissions, Vocation, and Stewardship at Vanderbilt Divinity School in Nashville, Tennessee. And Amy Kim is the Director of Formation for Children, Youth, and their Families at Grace Covenant Presbyterian Church in Asheville, North Carolina. We have all been friends for a long time, so preemptive apologies if we nerd out and talk in a bit of code. We're just going to say it's part of our charm. Anyway, thanks for being here, and now sit back and enjoy episode 49 with Laura Mariko Cheifetz and Amy Kim Kyremes-Parks. My name is Bruce Reyes-Chow, and this is BRC and Friends. Each episode, my co-hosts and I chat with activists, artists, academics, and adventurers to discuss politics, faith, pop culture, technology, and as you will discover, pretty much everything that pops into our heads. This is basically an excuse for us to hang out with friends and colleagues and riff about things that matter. Welcome to BRC and Friends. Well, hello all, and welcome to this new season of BRC and Friends. Today we have a little bit of a different format. You're going to meet a couple of the new co-hosts, and as we were just talking about before the show, we try not to use all our funny up beforehand. No pressure, but we're really excited. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to ask Laura and Amy Kim if you would go ahead and introduce yourself, give the random, boring, whatever introduction if you want, and then with all your professional things. And then I'm going to ask you some questions to help us get to know you even more. And these are totally unscripted, people. We're just winging it because we know each other well. So I will invite Amy Kim, if you would go for it. Tell us who you are, pronounce your name for everybody, all those kind of good things.
My name's Amy Kim, pronounced Amy Kim. And last name is, is Kyremes-Parks. It's pronounced Kyremes-Parks.
I can tell when people drop off the podcast. So if they dropped off just right now, I'm like, all right, this is not a good sign.
Well, you know what? I don't need to be friends with them. It's okay. I'm already over it. So welcome.
Oh.
So my preferred pronouns are she, her, or aya, and I currently abide in Asheville, North Carolina, but originally from Salt Lake City, Utah. I serve as Director of Formation for Children and Youth and their Families in a Presbyterian church here. Live with my dear partner, Justin, our son, Isaiah, who's about to graduate with God's help and all the other things, and two wonderful dogs. And we have another daughter, Natalie, who does not live with us. But I don't know if there's any more boring I could give you. So, Laura, please tell us all your boring and exciting things.
Laura Mariko Cheifetz. I use pronouns she, her, and hers. I live in Nashville, Tennessee, with my partner, Jessica Vasquez-Torres. If you hear someone very knowledgeable behind me, that's who that is. And whatever rescue dogs are around. I work at Vanderbilt Divinity School as Assistant Dean of Admissions, Stewardship, and Vocation. Is that too early?
You have a long ass title.
Well, you know what? There's a lot of work to be done to make sure that the world has the leaders it needs.
I have so many probably inappropriate jokes in my head, but yes, I agree totally.
I'm originally from the Pacific Northwest. Sorry, just wanted to put that in there. I will never be from Nashville, Tennessee. I am so sorry, but I do enjoy living here.
All right, we're off to a good start. Let's get some hate in for Nashville. It's all good. That's going in the show notes. And which one? Yeah. Folks, hopefully you've been on the show. I'm Bruce Reyes-Chow. I'm now in Palo Alto at First Presbyterian Church as their part-time head of staff and senior pastor. I have three children. One is graduate from college. Two are in college, which is going to be one of my rants later. And then we are here with my spouse. We have 31 years. That is...
Wow.
I know.
That's a lot of
That's kind of amazing.
Bless her heart.
Yes.
That's not cool. Well, we all know that is true.
It is cool. It actually is really cool that she has continued.
She's re-upped. Over and over again.
We get you in doses. She gets you all the time.
Especially now with the pandemic, you aren't even, providing the space here and there.
Well, I will say, after 30 years in San Francisco in a 2-bedroom apartment and then moving into bougie land of Palo Alto, it is not a terrible place to have been locked down. I mean, we have space. There are times. I mean, the amount of times that we text each other from other rooms now is ridiculous.
We do signal video calls sometimes, room to room.
we don't do that. I love that you use signal video calls because you don't want anybody, because those calls.
The government is watching.
Oh my goodness gracious. All right, so here's your first question, because this show is called BRC and Friends. Tell me about the first time that you met me. We're going to talk about me for just a minute. Do you even remember? Laura, do you remember the first time we met? And I don't know.
I actually cannot remember, but it had to have been maybe 2000, 2001, maybe.
Okay.
Because,
where?
Oh gosh. Or was it like 2002 at your place in San Francisco? Because my parents were in the same presbytery. Or was it General Assembly?
I think it might have been General Assembly.
It might have been. Okay.
Why don't you guys throw some more nerdy?
When were you there?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was a YAD in 2001.
So for you non-Presbyterians in the room, we all happen to be Presbyterian. We are missing Jorge today. I should, and we'll meet you all. Get to meet Jorge. But General Assembly is our now biennial gathering of all of the national gathering, and the YADs, which are now the youth. No, not the young adult advisory delegates. At one point, I was one. Amy Kim, were you ever one?
Are you kidding me? Yes.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Okay.
Seriously, we're like the
Laura was anyway. So that is true. That is true. Yeah. So I think it might have been GA.
Yes, I was. I knew everything and was deeply insufferable, is my recollection. So thank you for being a really good advisor to me. You and Minda. I'm sure there were other people involved, but you and Minda Uriarte were so delightful.
That's right. That is right. Yes. Now it all comes back, flooding back to me. That's right. Amy Kim, how did we meet? Where was the first time we met?
It would have been 1992 or 3.
Okay.
At Montreat.
So that was Montreat was where we met. And Montreat, you all is a Presbyterian Conference Center that a lot of Presbyterians go to.
I would like to point out that I was a young person and you were technically an adult. I say technically because I think it really was a technical conversation. And
at that point.
Yes. And I also remember very vividly you going to get a tattoo with another friend of ours and then needing to come back and tell Robin, your spouse, and that we were all watching because you were nervous about calling Robin about said tattoo. And this was before the cell phones, friends. And so I remember vividly standing in a corner mocking you by a payphone by the general store while you called Robin and sheepishly told her what had happened.
Yes, but the preemptive to that was I had asked her beforehand if I could do it. And Robin said, almost, I'm sure it's quoted, I prefer that you didn't. So that for a probably 23-year-old at that point was not no. That was not no. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It is again.
And 31 years later, I don't know that it would still not be no.
Well, I would hope that somebody in this relationship has grown. I have no more tattoos. Robin does know that if, God forbid, something were to happen to her, I would be inked up probably the next day. Yeah.
Well, I mean, in her honor at minimum.
Oh yeah, it'd say Robin down the aisle. I mean, she would love it. I mean, when all the kids when they went away. First things, right? Ink. Mm-hmm. And they all called me Dad. So I'm like, you better tell your mother. And, first one, very subtle. Second one, I could barely see on our middle ones, youngest. Yeah, it's almost half. It's probably not really half of her arm, but it's pretty big. And I think it's cool. Anyway, well, cool, you all. I mean, I was trying to remember exactly when we all met and the things. But here, we're going to get to know you all. So I'm going to start off with some easy things first, and then we can kind of see where it goes. One smell that reminds you of your childhood. Either of you go.
Eucalyptus. Because when we visited my grandparents in the Bay Area, their house was surrounded by eucalyptus trees, which at some point they kind of like removed a few because they're really bad during fires. But yeah, that's a smell that's like, there it is.
Yeah. Eucalyptus trees, for those of you who don't know, have a lifespan, and they are, what is that word? They're not natural to the area, but for some reason somebody came into the San Francisco Bay Area and planted a bunch of eucalyptus, and they burn because of the oil. And so they started to take them down. But yes, and it's so strong though when you walk around and you just like, woof. All right, Amy Kim, smell that reminds you of your childhood.
Well, at first I thought you were going to go to my childhood, which had to do with mentholatum and Vicks. So thank you for that, Laura, because that was also like, so it's just so Latina to be like, put Vicks or menthol latte on everything, all the things. Yep. And then my husband calls it love rub, which is a whole nother conversation for another day.
I'm going to have to get explicit.
Another day. And you don't though. But my smell from my childhood would be like beans, pinto beans in a pressure cooker. So both the sound and the smell of that. So delicious and delightful.
Mine would be, I've always tried to, when I answer this question, be like, what is it? Like it changes, obviously. But recently I got a whiff again of mothballs. And because my grandma, my Chinese side, and my grandma used to have mothballs everywhere. And it is such a comforting smell for me. Because I just remember that's what grandma's closet smelled like. And they were out there. I mean, they're probably toxic, right? I don't even know what they're made of. But, they're just laying around the house in the closets and everything. I just remember now I smell like, oh, it also is the same smell I found out that people put in their toilet sometimes, which I was like, oh, that's a weird connection too. Anyway,
I do remember reading an Asian American author who called it the immigrant's perfume. That smell, and I was like, "That tracks."
No, it totally,
tracks.
It's just this love that smell. Also, Tiger Balm, but I would run away from Tiger Balm because my grandma would be like, "Here's some Tiger Balm." I'm like, I'm not. No, that burns a hole in whatever you put it on. I am not putting Tiger Balm on that. It does not solve everything. All right, I'm just going to say one word. And you get your reaction. Sports.
Meh.
I just made a face.
Bad radio, Laura.
I'm so sorry. Sports can be very fun. There are actually sports that I enjoy, but I would say that the sports industrial complex in the United States is basically highly exploitative, especially the real money-making sports, and it's a plantation model. Not great.
Well, you're not all up into the Major League Baseball billionaires against the millionaires things that are going labor.
This is me not caring.
This is Laura's not caring face. For those of you that will be able to see.
Yeah, seriously.
What sports do you like, Laura? Do you follow? Is there anything I'm like, oh, I'll go ahead and watch that?
I watch live baseball, and we've been living in cities where really the only baseball we can watch without violating our principles of anti-racism, that would be like the minor leagues, because they're so fun. Oh, yeah, and I like watching soccer. Mm-hmm. That's really fun. So now that we have access to Vanderbilt sports, I think I'm going to try and take spousal unit to like some tennis matches. She loves tennis.
Really? I do not.
I just want to watch you all watch tennis.
Oh, yeah.
She knows things.
Right?
Like on a live feed, like mic you up.
I mean,
during tennis.
The commentary is constant, as you might imagine.
Are people shushing you all?
Oh, I've never been to a live one.
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to talk during it. Yeah, that would be bad.
You'd have to do something about that. Good luck with that. Yeah, I mean,
know. We have to text.
I only really follow Major League Soccer because we love Real Salt Lake. And then now one of my former youth is their team manager or something or other. Anyway, it's all controversial.
Yes.
Anyway, but I also work with someone who has been quite outspoken about the politics of sports. And so I am learning a lot from both she and her spouse. And they have a NPR show where they talk about all the things and issues.
Yeah, we should get them.
Oh, they would be so amazing.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Collab time. Yes, there's going to be a lot of collab time.
Token white guests.
Yeah, well, and he just started cartoon. Like he's a cartoonist. And so he also published his own book of cartoons called PU Football. And it really chronicles a lot of the shit that went down in various states, especially the one I reside in, at a place with a hill and a chapel. Anyway, so yeah, we should totally get them on. They're fantastic. So.
Well, that would be awesome. I will be in touch. For me, so where I think sports is one of those places where people super compartmentalize. I mean, we do it everywhere, but sports tends to be, I mean, those, friends from Atlanta, friends from Cleveland, like we're compartmentalizing about baseball, like huge. I went to a baseball game in Atlanta one time with a friend who was super, like a common friend, and they totally got into it. I'm like, this is never going away. Like, I did not realize that tomahawk chop thing, like, it's not going away. Like,
it's no longer official. They actually don't. They officially say they don't like people to do it, but people do it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. I mean, it was wild to be not from there and then be in it and like, whoa. But I compartmentalize big time. I'm a baseball fan. Oakland A's, that's mine. Women's soccer, my kids play it a lot, so I'm into that. What I don't get, I do not get college sports at all. I just don't. This is where I put a lot of stuff into people's world that they could care less about, and I appreciate that. And that's where when football season happens and March Madness is what they call it, right? When that starts coming into my feed, I'm like, I'm just gonna be glad that people find joy in other things, but I do not get it. One time we had a church I was serving, we had a former homecoming queen from Ohio State was a member, and she told me, if we lose on Saturday, I'm actually depressed on Sunday, and I may not be able to come to church. And I'm like, maybe you should come to church. Maybe that'd be helpful. But yeah, I do not get college sports at all.
Well, and also you clearly don't, because you need to say the Ohio State. You couldn't say Ohio State. You need to say
they tried to trademark the, and I will never stop making fun of them for that.
They tried to trademark the definitive article. I've never thought about it. I'm going to trademark the Bruce Reyes-Chow.
And we will not be friends anymore. End of podcast. It's over. That's been great. Thank you.
That was like the most BRC thing.
Also,
you know me well.
When I was first serving a church in Ohio, one of the very first Sundays, the pastor got up and said "OH," and the entire stinking congregation went "I-O" and put their hands up and did the whole thing. And I was like, "What in the world just happened?" So it's a thing.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, it's weird to me. I mean, I know I'm in culty things. I do Orange Theory. I know cults. And so, I think like we had was for the audience. That was a hard eye roll once again from Laura. We should have a sound effect.
You need a sound effect. Exactly.
Eye roll. My mother got me into Orange Theory, and then she talks shit about me while we do it together. And it's
very motivating.
Is it? Or is it just feed toxic masculinity for your mother to be like, oh, is that all you can do? Is that all you can do? What?
Yeah, but I like your mom.
No, I know. Everybody loves my mom. It's,
Yeah, same. Okay. We should get our mom.
In any case, I mean, it. Oh.
Okay, for the listening public, both Bruce's mom and my mom are pastors in the same presbytery, and Amy Kim's mom is Amy Kim's mom. So this would be amazing.
Oh my gosh!
Oh, a mama
Can we do
show
it like the Newlywed Game, where we answer questions that we think, and then they figure out the answers.
Oh no!
Holy moly! And then we're going to need therapy, and then we're going to need booze and chocolate together, and all the food after, and our spouses.
Do you know what my mom once said to me when I went to therapy? This one time I was like going back to therapy. My mom called and was like, "It's okay if it's my fault." And I was like, that is the nicest thing anyone has ever said.
That's so your mother.
I know. It's very sweet. I was like, it's not in this case, I don't think, but like, thank you. But the Sarah Diana Loida show would be LIT.
Oh my gosh. Okay. That got written down. That is a great idea. All right, let's keep going.
I need to build up.
I know they're good. That's true. Here's your next one. I don't get why people like blank.
White gravy.
I don't understand what that is.
Like any
White gravy
that's not like dark brown in nature. I mean, like even like biscuits and gravy and like milk gravy. Like I don't understand it.
Paste.
I don't understand it. I never have. Like it's from drippings from a cow's udder, not from a chicken or a cow or. Yes, you're welcome, Bruce. I know you're doing the silent prayer because Amy Kim just got two.
I need a sound effect for Bruce is like, oh, this could go in a lot of directions. Who knows where it's going to go? I've been in enough conversations with Amy Kim. Who knows where it's going to go? Yes, I don't understand white gravy either. I'm just like, put more sausage in it to make it actually taste good if you're going to do that. But mine is I really don't understand pumpkin spice. I genuinely, it feels like I'm drinking a candle and makes me want to gag every time. So that's just a very simple, not very, but what other things? Laura, anything? I don't get why people like blank.
Oh, I never understood why people liked Friends or Seinfeld because I just never understood because I lived in New York a little early on in my formation. And I was like, I don't understand how you get all white people and the only diversity is like the Jewish people. Like that literally makes no sense to me. Mm-hmm. You would have to go out of your way to end up with only white friends. And so I just never really got into it. May have been an early sign on the queerness. Don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think you would have to go out of your way to have only white friends. I think people do go out of their way to only have white friends. I think it's actually a thing.
Yeah. I will admit, I know that Friends is. I never got Seinfeld. Like Seinfeld, I never understood Seinfeld. But we did watch Friends. We did. There are too many good. I mean, I cannot look at a pair of leather pants without thinking of the episode when Ross leathers up his legs in the leather pants. And anyway, so that's a whole other podcast about leather pants and lotion. But in any case, yeah. So when you said you have to take a long time, you have to try to have all white friends. I remember my kids were playing soccer and we go somewhere in the Bay Area and we look at a team and it would be all white. And we're like, you have got to try really hard. Like not even an Asian. Like I was just like, what is going on? Yeah, no, that is true. All right. Any other things that you don't get why people like? I don't get why people like.
I mean, there are a lot of things I don't get why people like them, but I've become aware that it's rude to just make fun of people for liking things that I don't like, that maybe we come from different contexts and I should be more understanding, but I'm still making fun of people inside. Do you know what I mean? Like there's a strong inner monologue that's like, I don't.
Oh, okay. Well, it's just because we're just getting started. But yes, that's
just so we're clear.
Well, but also, I mean, let's also be clear that all of us still want jobs. And so like, we also have to be careful, at least initially, because I mean, that like between all of us, when we're in meetings, I'm texting you like the hell, what is going on?
I do not know what you are talking about.
Okay. I will tell you one thing that I did that was a little bit like one of these moments. So my boss, a renowned senior scholar, walks into the kitchen. This is before the pandemic. And was like, hey, do you have any packets of soy sauce? I think she was just like looking in the kitchen in general. And I was the only one in there. And I was like, that is not soy sauce. And she was like, I see you feel strongly about something other than social justice. So anyway, I realized that I'm just like a certain way and I expect certain things. And so I stocked the kitchen with kikkoman and with assorted hot sauces. And then I went back to the office after the pandemic. We're out. I need to go shopping.
There you go. Yeah. We all do feel strongly. That's going to be one of our questions later. All right. So here's the thing. So just as you were saying, you're not going to talk shit about people. Your next question actually really is, I know they are a child of God, but I cannot stand blank. Okay. I'll give you, this is a gimme. This is an easy. Okay. All right.
Why does Dick Cheney get to live and so many amazing, wonderful people have not. He is a war criminal, and we all knew it then, and we sure as heck know it now.
Well, and he's getting play for critiquing the Republican Party right now. I just saw a bunch of things like, he's just come out and questioned who we are. This is not what it was like when I was involved. I'm like, yes. Yep. All right. There you go. Any others, or Amy Kim, you want to jump in? I know they're a child of God, but I cannot stand
the people who at our conferences or worship services think that they can interpret songs with their bodies, and they think they know sign language or something, and then they do it. God. And it's so disturbing because it's clearly not American or any other language of sign language. It's basically like what the Spirit put into their blessed hearts. And then they're doing it, and it's ruined the entire song for me. All of it. And it happens more often than I wish I could actually say. But as soon as I said it, I want you all to know, Laura and Bruce just went into a little bit of a fetal position in their heads because they know exactly what I'm talking about. They're very clear. And I know
that's terrible. When everybody says, let's do the motions. Let's do the motions.
No, don't.
Let's not do that. Let's not do the motions. Yeah.
No.
And that was a big, I haven't seen it as much lately, but that was a big thing for a while. It was like to put motions to every.
Yeah, and because we're embodied people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But also I cringe hard.
Well, and then it would just give us permission to be middle schoolers again, and not to talk about our middle schoolers, but just to, everything becomes inappropriate at some point. I mean, I still remember sitting in the back and people doing fill my cup, let it overflow, and trying to do motions to that. And it just got raunchy in the back. So for so many reasons.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's so many. We need to do a whole episode on just Jesus is my boyfriend songs. Because those
Yes, we do we though. I'm thinking, oh my gosh.
I just need you to know they're way better in Spanish.
Most things are better
Lord,
in Spanish.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord is so much better. Sí.
Oh, God.
God, I hadn't even thought about that one in Spanish. Sweet Jesus.
Oh, I heard it at a conference. It was amazing.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, so, gosh, I'm going to share it anyway. So I was in a conference one time, and I don't know if this is the one, Amy, me and I were together at planning planning theme development. And one of the ones that had made the final round was sliding up the mountain. Yeah.
I don't understand.
And I'm trying to be like, okay, so I'm the adult in the room. So am I going to be the one that says, okay, here's what's going to happen with sliding up the mountain and back down the mountain? And I mean, it's just like, there's just, for some reason, we don't think about this stuff. I
have always thought that every team putting together something needs to have one of us on speed dial or just text me. I have the brain of an 8th grade boy. And you just need to ask me if there are any untoward associations that come to mind with this phrase.
Do not put "come" in any theme.
No. But the other problem is that then when you bring it up, people act like you're the naughty one, right? Like,
and I'm like, please,
horrible heathen are you?
I'm way more pure than most of y'all. To be clear, in my actual actions, I'm just letting you know how some people are going to perceive it.
Yeah.
Oh no, I think that's totally true.
My favorite was check your compass, and they had it on a big banner, and then they put a fern. No, they didn't have a fern. They put the communion table, and so it said check your ass. And so then we had to put a fern in front of ass. It was awesome. It's good times.
As we do.
So then it was just like check your
come.
See? And God gave us our sexual beings to be beautiful and holy. And by holy, we mean fun as hell sometimes, right?
Yeah.
But you don't have to put that in people's minds during a conference when you're worshiping the Lord.
They're already thinking it.
Exactly. Why would we? Oh my gosh, the number of times. What? Well, part of me is like, okay, I'm not the only one thinking this in the room. I'm just willing to say it. And two, if you're not thinking it, I'm like, interesting. Okay.
Who have you worked with recently? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Yeah,
just hang out with my child. We couldn't even get through Christmas Eve service this year. Oh, come, Emmanuel. Nope. Can't do it. We're 18 now and we can't get through it. It's all right.
Wow. We got, oh my gosh, I can't remember them. We got pranked. Somebody logged into our worship service with a prank name. And now I can't remember what it was, but I had to tell all of our older folks, okay, go ahead and say it all at once. And they're like, and it took a while. I'm like, no. And one was like, don't just say it quickly. And God, what was it? But it was a classic prank name.
Phil McCrack.
What? I can't remember. It was one of those. I don't remember what it was. Michael Oxmall or something. I don't know. It was one of those kind of, in any case. Anyway. All right. So here we go. Let me go to one more question. What do you have strong feelings about these days? What's filling your feed? And I'll start because, I am part of a Facebook group with parents from one of the schools that my kid is at, the youngest. And oh my goodness, to be in a Facebook group with parents of college students is hysterical to me. And I'm like, at what point do you let your kids go? It's just wild and this closure stuff that's happening and where our schools are going to close a little bit. And a couple of them continue to use like incarceration metaphors for their kids. And my kids are at a 4-year liberal arts school, super high tuition that, I get that a lot of these parents are actually paying. So but at the same time, I'm just like, wow. And they're all, this is one of those things that folks, we know exactly what to do. We know exactly how we handle this because it's based off of my individual experience. So now the whole school should go ahead and do this. And it is just infuriating to watch them kind of just shit all over the administration and they're not perfect, obviously, but oh my gosh, I don't respond to anything. I always feel like I have to be the chaplain in these places, but this one, I'm like, it's not happening. So that has been lately, not only just, I don't have elementary school kids or, that age and all that's going on, but this college stuff is watching some of these parents as if it's the fault of the institution that we have these things going on. Like, yeah. And Omicron is different. And anyway, so that's what's been like going through lately. And that's the place I've had to resist commenting the most in the last couple of days around that. So there's mine for today. Anything you're feeling strongly about these days or filling your feeds up with lately?
I feel strongly about everything, so it's really hard.
I was going to say, what's not? What's
not? What do I stop caring about? Nope, still pondering. So I would say in this current time, I'm having strong feelings about the region in which I live, not only because I feel a little bit like defensive of the progressives who are from the South and have done super good work, for generations. People do live here who have been advocating for change for a really long time. They've just been suppressed and gerrymandered and all of that out of the equation. But I have really strong opinions about the people here who have decided that they would, according to the subtitle of a book by a Vanderbilt professor, live in the politics of white resentment, which is lowering all of our life expectancies, mostly theirs, but a lot of ours too. And how they would rather lean into that than say life abundant, blah, blah, blah.
That's good. That's good. I think that's,
I would say mine's super similar because we just have, I'm in the most, gentrified tourism, whatever place that likes to say they're super progressive and all about the people. And there was a field that people were popping up tents in and damn it, we just can't have that happening. So we're going to have a bulldozer the night before everything dips into freezing temperatures, literally bulldoze people's houses down and not have anywhere for them to go and say that this is all a good idea. And so just that whole like, but we're so progressive, but we love everybody, but we, and what tourism does to people who need places to be. And these are all the people who are working in the hotels. They literally are working all day long, and then they go and sleep in tents and find somewhere to shower and then have to go back and help these people. Wonderful children of God, apparently, is how Bruce refers to them. And
apparently.
Again, another hard eye roll from Laura.
Yeah. You and Jesus, love, love, love. Blur, blur. I was going to say, Bruce tends to be pastoral in those environments. And Laura's like, well, let me tell you something about something. And that's also what I love. So you want to follow someone on Twitter that is the voice of the prophet crying out in the wilderness? You go find Laura. You go find Laura.
Well, also simultaneously being the man, as you know.
Yes.
This is true. You have a long title.
I know.
I actually read it multiple times as I was like, I wonder what Laura's actual title these days. I'm like, holy Moses. It's like you were in charge of a lot of things.
Yeah, I was going to say how many more.
Facilitate.
Answer emails for said department. Yeah. Yeah. And then I'm also doing a lot of reading about like the mental toll on children, especially young children and teenagers, about just what has been happening. And, it's all trickled down. So it's also clearly the parents, but just a lot of what's happening and how we just have no concept of the ramifications of all of this and what it's doing to all of us mentally, emotionally. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Well, I think that's, we've had the rise in suicides in our area, and I'm sure around the country of young adults. Santa Clara University out here just had, I think, 3 deaths, two death by suicide. And Palo Alto is actually known for going through these cycles of kids here jumping in front of a Caltrain, which is our fast train here. It's terrible. And but I think you're right. And I think we just try to manage our way through it. Like if we just have the right plan, we're going to be fine. And places of privilege, like where I am, like it's impacted them in this community, certainly, but not at the level of like, we think we're going to plan our way out of this and we'll be fine in 6 months. And I think you're right. The toll that it's taken on everybody. Grateful that you all have maintained your health and have avoided COVID at this point. Is that correct for the most part?
Yep. But I know
I have no interest, for those of you that don't know, I had it pretty severely. I have no interest in getting it again, but at some point I'm just like, well, I guess, but we're super locked down again for our family, as one can imagine. It was terrible. Don't get it. Terrible club to be part of. All right. So how can we find you, Laura? What's the best way for people to connect? This will be in the show notes as well, but where do you prefer people to connect with you?
Okay. I Googled myself and I'm the only one. Okay. So that's how you can find me.
Oh, all the 3 of us are probably the only ones in the world.
Correct. Yes, we are.
Then we're going to add Jorge. Then we're going to add Jorge Bautista, and that's just going to mess it all up. I know. That's my guess. You are going to love him.
I'm very excited to hang out with him. Probably the most active I am is on Twitter. So
I'm pretty lame. Let's just be straight up. I'm pretty lame when it comes to
we'll put
all
that
the socials in
that'll be in the show notes. And Amy Kim, what's your preferred space to people connect with you?
But she can't press anything because she uses a rotary phone. No, but I do have Instagram.
So Amy Kim's phone number is just kidding.
KYREMESBARKS, or the Facebook. Though every time I get on Facebook, I feel horrible because Laura has taught me about the evils of Facebook, and so at some point I will get my act together and probably 4 more episodes in, I won't have the Facebook, and I'll only have Instagram and Twitter, and then Instagram will barely be there. But the thing is that's how I keep in touch with my people, and my people are so far away, and so it totally bites. So there's another little rant for me. But you can also just come into my house because I don't lock my door.
I know.
Yeah.
Amy Kim's phone number is, and the address is, and what are you in Toronto? Isn't that where that show, that documentary, that people don't lock their doors? And I'm Bruce Reyes-Chow. You can find me at B Reyes-Chow on all the platforms. That's so interesting that all three of us, if you were to Google,
are you new to the universe?
None of us ever Google ourselves.
Is this your first day on Earth?
We would be the only ones in the world. People have said to me, I can't. I've tried to find you, but I can't figure out how to get in touch with you. And I'm like, then you did actually not. You just lied to me. My kids do give me a hard time. At one point, I did say to a reporter, oh my God, I did say, well, if you just Google me. And now every time my kids have a moment to slip that in, they're like, well, if you just Google me, you'll be able to.
That's apparently why some of you have had children, is so you can be tormented forever for all of the things you deserve to be tormented.
Exactly. Yeah. As soon as those things come out, you're like, oh, no. That just came out. All right, thank you all for being here, Amy Kim and Laura, for joining the co-hosting. For those of you that are listening, what's going to happen is we'll have a guest on. We'll have a couple of co-hosts, and we're going to rotate through. We are lining up some really exciting people, both in pop culture and politics, and just going to talk about a lot of things. So make sure that you do subscribe and rate and all those things and all the places that you listen to your podcast. Support us on Patreon so that eventually we can buy coffee for these folks and cover all the production costs and all that kind of thing. All the links are in the show notes. And until next time, we'll see you later on BRC and Friends. BRC and Friends was produced, written, and recorded by Bruce Reyes-Chow with zero help from his dogs Vespa or Bernie. Please be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to BRC and Friends wherever you listen to podcasts. Also, please follow, like, tag, and share on all the platforms via BRC and Friends or B Reyes-Chow. Thanks for listening to BRC and Friends.